Life's best moments are best captured by photography and video. You may ask, why photography and video? Because if a photo is worth 1,000 words, video is worth 1,000,000. And GPS photography and video will leave you speechless. GPS specializes in weddings, sports, fitness, and so much more. Book your next shoot today at 910-257-0526 or gpsphotoandvideo.com.
Welcome to the Amazon's podcast. I'm Glenn Young, owner of Amazon's fitness magazine. Celebrate the female physique. Subscribe to amazonsfitmag.com. The podcast is brought to you by Maximus Posing Suits. Celebrate your inner warrior. Let your inner warrior shine. Custom competition suits for every stage. MaximusPosingSuits.com. And of course, GPS photography and video. Why photography and video? Because if a photo's worth 1,000 words, video's worth 1,000,000. GPSphotoandvideo.com. My guest is the winner of the St. Louis Pro, just off stage at the New York Pro, the Warrior Fit Princess, Marika Jones, IFBB Women's Physique St. Louis champion, St. Louis Pro champion. How's that?
Great. Hi.
How are you doing? Have you had time to reflect?
I have just a little bit, just getting back into work. So jumping back into regular working schedules and actually taking everything in now that I feel like I have a break to actually take everything in. Still very surreal, even through everything that was happening, but I'm truly excited to see what's next for me.
So you wanted to see how you would shape up or how you would fit in at a larger show. You're already qualified for the Olympia. So basically it was like a fact finding to say, okay, where am I at?
Mm-hmm.
What was your end result? What was the feedback from the St. Louis Pro going into the New York Pro?
The feedback from Becky, because Becky was amazing. She came backstage immediately and talked to all the pros who wanted to get their feedback. We kind of stood in line, and the feedback was just a little bit more conditioning. She compared my body to Andrea's, which I get a lot. So, and she was like, we love your round shoulders, your round muscle bellies, just a little tighter. That was the feedback. And so that's kind of where I went, wanting to keep my shape and symmetry in place with those rounder muscles and bring more conditioning to the stage. And I think I did that.
Yeah. And how much time was it between the St. Louis Pro and the New York Pro?
About 3 weeks.
Okay. So time to make some improvements.
Yeah. I've made improvements in 2 weeks. I knew I could do it in 3. So I hit the ground running.
But I got to say, she was comparing you to Andrea.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to ask the question. Did you feel like you were a women's bodybuilder on a stage of women's physique pros? Or did you think, okay, I'm good with women's physique? And the ultimate question is, do you think you need to move up to women's bodybuilding?
No, I think I'm a women's physique competitor. Like if in my mind, I'm going to be honest with you. When I look at the best, the standard right now is Sarah. She's the standard. So in my mind, that's what you're chasing because that's what they have deemed as the standard. And I think I shake up as far as size goes without having too much size with Sarah and Natalia. And I asked Sarah that after the New York Pro. And so I was like, do you think that I was too big? But it looked like I was bigger because I was taller and I'm only 5'5". So I don't.
Yeah, you one of the tallest ones out there. So yeah.
Saw it. I was like, wow, I'm really not that big in real life. But and she was like, no, I don't think that it stood out at all. I was like, okay, well, that's always my concern. And I did put on a little bit of size from last year on my quads. I wanted a little bit more bicep, My back is going to do what my back does. It has been big since college. There's nothing I can really do about it. I just don't train it as hard. I could probably do pull-ups from now until Olympia and still be good. And that'd be all for my back. So
that's your most prominent feature then, huh?
that is my most prominent feature is my back. It is.
Did you get your feedback from Tyler Mannion?
No, I don't really know how to get the feedback. I've been trying to reach out to see if I can get an email because he didn't come backstage, but I don't know if he didn't come backstage because there was so much going on. But I'm going to try to get my feedback because I would like to understand a little bit more what he was looking for because I'm not quite sure, to be honest.
Right. Well, he's been doing that feedback videos. He's just now starting to see them this week. So hopefully he's going to get women's physique division out there pretty soon.
I've never seen him give feedback on women's physique.
Really? So he does the feedback videos, and I'm starting to see the ones from the New York Pro. I have not seen the women's physique division yet, but I'm sure it's coming. But at the end of the day, I would still, keep reaching out so you can find out,
I mean, I need to know.
Yeah, exactly.
I specifically need to know what, because I've never been judged by Tyler. I've been judged by Steve twice, but I've never been judged by Tyler. I've been judged by Becky twice, just not Steve. I mean, just not Tyler. So I don't know what he was
definitely. And you want to get that for sure. When I look ahead out into the future space, you're from St. Louis, correct? There's not going to be a St. Louis Pro next year. So you basically, that hometown feel is great when you don't have to travel. But now, assuming that you're going to compete next year, and we certainly hope you do, regardless of what happens at the Olympia, win, lose, or draw, is you would have to travel. Pittsburgh or Canada if you want to do the same early shows. Give me your thoughts on it. St. Louis Pro going away and basically everything that the promoter put out, because he came out, Jack and Tony, Jack and Tony, who are the promoters. And he said no more St. Louis Pro. And then if we don't get good numbers in Omaha would go away too. But then he came back and said, well, here's an incentive. I'll give you a free vendor booth in reference to Omaha. How do you feel? You had some time since the St. Louis Pro, and we had talked about it prior to the New York Pro. And again, so glad you came on the podcast as well. But now that you had some time, give me your thoughts.
I am going to be honest with you. I'm very open and honest and transparent. I am a little bit disheartened by that only because it feels like almost like a slap in the face for those people who did show up, who did put the work in, who did come, and who was a part of it. Obviously I'm from here, so my family showed up, my peers from work showed up.
Yes.
A lot of the amateurs that I see in the gym, killing it, they were there rooting and competing.
Nothing like a home game. Yeah.
Right. And they were there competing. And I think that it's vital to see women, like women's physique, even figure, and women's bodybuilding at some of these shows, to show some of these women that there is not one stigma of bikini or wellness that they have to go into, and that you can still be beautiful with muscles and powerful. I think that it's important. So I'm a little bit saddened by it. Again, I feel like it was a little bit of a slap in the face a little bit, because we were there, we were competing, and we were there for the crowd even afterwards, taking pictures, being there for some of those people. So it sucks, for lack of better words. As far as, what's next for me, I don't know. I'm just trying to get through the Olympia, my very first Olympia, the 60th anniversary. But also my thought process is do a show immediately after Olympia. I was
going to ask you,
So again, because you have to be strategic at this point, maybe do a show immediately after Olympia, and maybe the Triple O. Aim for the Triple O.
Yes, the Triple O done, and more prize money, and we're gonna get into that. That was basically the first announcement that the Triple O Dynasty was gonna have more prize money. Didn't get the figures yet, but the date is set, and that's the thing that really pulls people out, I believe. And speaking of which, there's a show in Texas, this came out. And I was going to ask you, are you going to do another show before the Olympia? $15,000. And it's like, if you coulda, woulda, shoulda known prior to, like, oh, you know what?
Listen,
It's
I'm
great,
not gonna lie. I
Yeah.
put some eyeballs on the post when Sarah posted it, and I'm like, top 10 gets money. Like,
Yeah.
at the very least, you get experience on a stage and can make back what you spent.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a thing. I might do it, just to kind of jump back into competing before
Right.
Olympia. It's just also I don't want to burn my body out. I don't want to be my best self at the
You're
Olympia.
right.
So
You're
it's
right.
something that I haven't even talked to my coach. I just saw it and was like, ooh.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, this might be something fun to do. And Texas is amazing. Listen, I'm thinking about the food, the atmosphere, the vendors that are going to be there supporting us.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
It's very much a dope show, and I'm going to Texas this summer to train with Ashley. So
well, there you go. I tell you what, you can at least sort of scout and be like, yeah, this might be good. I might do this.
It's in the back of my mind, but so I might have to pop up and see kind of what's going on with that. But I'll talk to my coach and we'll make an informed decision from there. Because it might be beneficial. He actually might be doing the Texas Pro, so we don't know.
Oh, there you go. And then more prize money. Staying on that topic. New York Pro, $5,000. So I'm seeing a trend, and now it's starting to. I think it's starting to turn from where we went to. There should be more prize money to women's physique. Not being at shows, not showing up at shows a month ago to now. It's like, okay, now everything seems to be a lot more positive. And when you look at it, there was 5 at
St. Louis,
3 in Pittsburgh, and then 9 at the New York. So the numbers are coming up, and maybe it's just a thing of, you're dealing with a 12-cylinder race car, not a 4-cylinder, not a 6-cylinder. Okay, It takes time to warm that engine up. Whether it's a longer prep, and then you want to look at what's the best show for you and the strategy involved with that, regardless of what numbers show up. So, and then how do you promote the show? What's at stake, or the swag bags, the little things, the nuances, how you're treated. And this Toronto Pro is always, in Van Isle, their reputation is always, taking care of the athletes. They love the atmosphere, how they were taken care of, they were catered to. And that's a lot of what it is, because the athletes don't show up, you don't have a show. Yeah. It doesn't matter what division it is. So,
and that's something that I said last year, because I did Atlanta Pro where I got second place, and it was honestly amazing. The hotel was directly right by the venue, so you could just walk to the venue. And even if you didn't want to walk, there was a shuttle there, like, hey, you guys are tire hopping, and we got you, even though you're just going right here. The hotel was a nice hotel. Close to it was nice. The way the checks that they gave, because it was Wings of Strength. The fact that in the athlete meeting, they talked to every last one of us, shook our hand. Linda Murray talked to us. It was just a different atmosphere. And it's something about shows that are promoted by other athletes, because they know how you want to be treated. And it's something that I've said. I was like, these promoters should do a feedback survey. Big on feedback, maybe that the corporate person in me. But you should do a feedback survey to see what went well and what could have been better, or what absolutely sucked. They would get more of a response and more athletes coming out if we could voice our opinions about what we liked. The ground was too hard. It was too hard of a walk. It was too costly. This venue, like, I think that it would just overall help. That's why the Triple O show is a big deal. I wanted to do it this year, but when I looked at flights from where I was and hotel, I was like,
and that's the thing. It's in Arizona, so I mean, and St. Louis, for others that's going into St. Louis or Omaha, it's in the middle of the states, middle of the United States, and that's a factor as well. I mean, but when you got a show that's home, you can do all kind of things. Like, you definitely want to do that show because it's just easier, it's cheaper. You're gonna have more support. So, and since you brought it up, Atlanta Pro, what was that? 15 July,
Yes, July 15th. Yep.
and then Chicago was right in that same
I did
date space.
Chicago last year too. I literally did back-to-back peak weeks.
All
And then
right, so
I turned around and did
I
Tampa.
already got you set.
It was last year was a whirlwind. I don't know what
Yeah.
I was on. I was just competing. I was like, Chicago, Tampa,
Yeah.
let's make it work. But like I said, I'm not competing in Atlanta. I have
Yeah.
my teammate is competing in Atlanta, and my best friend, I'm putting her through her very first competition. She's doing wellness, so I'm going to be there to support. It's a few other pros that I've only met a few times. We've known each other online, but I'm also going to be there to support them as well.
And let's be clear, fans will have you doing every show.
If they could.
And I'm a fan and a photographer. It's okay to be both because I'm all about aesthetics. You know, photographers are the quintessential participation trophy. Everybody looks good. And so in reality, you got to look at what's best for you. But yeah, fans will have you, hey, you know, just like I mapped out. Oh, you got Atlanta, you got Texas. I would have you doing Atlanta, Texas, and Chicago. So that's 3. So
right. I mean, and Tampa was fun. I mean, it was 27 women, I think, 22 to 27 women at Tampa. And that was like one of the biggest shows. And I got 5th place there.
Yeah.
Against other Olympians. So I was just like, this was a great experience.
Yeah. I believe Tampa has the record. I have to check the stats, but I believe they've got the record for the most women's physique competitors to show up.
It was a lot of us. It was,
and it's a huge show because essentially that's one of the last qualifications you can get in for the Olympia, because the Olympia's in October, Tampa's 3-4 August. So,
but then you still have like the Daytona show and that Reno show.
Yep.
Because I was going to try to do Daytona, but after coming back from Jamaica on vacation, I was like, I ain't gonna make it. And it was my daughter's first homecoming, so I was like, yeah, I'm not going. It's great.
What did your coach say?
My coach was just like, he was like, I don't know how, what we could have improved on. We're going to try to get the feedback. He was like, I mean, you can always be tighter, but again, in my mind and in my coach's mind, we're going through the criteria, and what's online ain't really what they're judging based off of. So you really just kind of a moving target is kind of what I said. And I think every woman that gets on stage and competes at this level, top 5, even outside of top 5, are giving it their all. They're not going to lose, but it would be nice to, it's so subjective. So I don't ever be like, I was disappointed. Don't get me wrong. I was disappointed, but I can't harbor on that. I feel no ill will to anybody who placed in front of me, because they came and did what they were supposed to do. And the judges judged. That's just how it rolls. Like, it doesn't, they're going to do what they want to do. They're going to judge how they want to judge. It would just be nice to figure out what this moving target is. What is the standard?
The feedback is going to be critical. And yes, one of the things I said, and I asked Veronica the same thing in reverse, did you feel like that you were on a women's physique competitor on stage with a bunch of women's bodybuilders? And then people are going to start looking at the photos, not so much from the New York Pro, but all the women's physique division winners that have currently qualified for the Olympian. Everybody's looking at, but then at the end of the day, you got to look at Sarah Villegas. That's the champ. That's who you're going after. So nothing else really matters. But inconsistency, maybe it's just a time to rewrite the definition of women's physique division. Maybe it's time.
And that's fine. And if they do that and I'm outside of that category, then I'll reevaluate. You know what I mean? But like even last year watching Emily compete, I was just like,
yes,
she women's physique, because if that's what I have to get to, I'm not going to get to that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not going to get to that. And again, it's the inconsistencies, because a few different things in my mind here is, if this person is not in the category, why keep rewarding them like they are in the category? You know what I mean? So now what you're doing is creating a cycle of women who are trying to get to that, because you're saying that this is what it is, even though we can look at it and be like, this doesn't necessarily look like women's physique. This looks like more like women's bodybuilding. And from the outside looking in, this looks like more like women's bodybuilding. But then if you would compare Emily to Andrea, she's the standard. That doesn't look
Yep.
the same. Even the
Yep.
disparity between first in women's bodybuilding and second in women's bodybuilding.
You're
Was it
right.
Angela? Amazing condition, like peeled to the
Angela
bone
Yo.
every single time.
And she came from women's physique.
She did.
Really.
But then you
Yep.
look at if Andrea's the standard, then so where's the disparity in all of this? What is what? You know,
Right.
if there's such a difference between first and second in each one. So, you know, it's a
And I
lot
think
to think about.
yeah, it is. And hopefully at the end of the season, there'll be a summit where they talk to the promoters and get all you guys in there in women's bodybuilding and figure it all out from the standpoint of prize money to showing up at the shows to the sanction fees. That's not something that obviously needs to be public, but a closed door meeting to say, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is what we can give, and let's go from there and see what happens. But I think it's sort of turning positive just because, yes, the numbers are increasing as the shows get later. The prize money is going up, and I believe that the promoters are listening. And let's just see what happens come October 15th and into December to see if we got anything new. Because, like I said, the first show of the season, or one of the first shows of the season, obviously, is the Triple O Dynasty, which is going to be huge because it's the second year of it. And then it's going to follow suit with everything, the Pittsburgh and New York. And we'll be right back here again this year. So I'm anxious to see now that Sarah Villegas has laid down the gauntlet, $15,000, New York, $5,000. Maybe there's a middle ground. Maybe there's, ideally, if I had it, the money to give from the standpoint as I see it, because I don't want to talk about anybody else and what they should be doing, what they should be spending. Get out their wallet. That's my opinion, because everybody keep talking about what Jake Wood should do this, the IFBB should do this, the NPC should do this. My preference is, in a perfect world, whatever the sanction fee is, pay it for all 6 divisions, in the perfect world, the ideal situation. And then if you were to go prize money, I think $10,000 is a starting point for the winner, $5,000 for second place in all 6 divisions, right? In a perfect world. And then I think around $1,500 for third place, but only award money for the top 3 spots.
Yeah.
But that's Glenn Young, which means nothing, which, so ideally you're talking $500,000, right? To maybe perhaps put on a show. And then that's going to be one big show. Obviously can't do it for all the shows. And then you talk about what's the proper place. Is it New York? Is it Pittsburgh? I would love if Charlotte was to come back, but I mean, that's in my world, the way I be thinking. So we'll see what happens, but I definitely don't want any division to go away.
You're not thinking wrong. And I think that any show that says they're a super show, a super pro show, should have every pro division. You're not a super pro show if you don't have every division. So we shouldn't even call it that. But if you think about, granted, all the fees that people have to pay to sanction these shows and the venue and all that, think about all the money that they're making back from ticket fees, from NPC. Now, I don't even know what it costs. I know it's way more expensive now to enter into a normal local show. It was like, when I started, it was like $65 or $75 and then $50 for every additional category. Now it's a couple of $100. It's almost the same as a national show if you want to do a local show. So they're making all of this money. Then you're looking at the friends and family that's coming out. So they're making a lot of money off of these shows where they accurately pay their pros and make pros actually feel like pros. Because it doesn't, I remember my very first pro show I just felt like, oh, like you're a pro. You're finally a pro. Like, you were the top of the top, but it hasn't felt like that. Like, it just felt like we were other amateurs getting screamed at in the back, and you need to be here. It's a little bit of a different atmosphere of shift. How it feels a little bit, but I'm interested to see it change. I'm hoping that they do get feedback. Like I said, I've never seen Tyler do any of the women's physique recaps, so I'm interested to see if he will do one, so we can kind of get an understanding of what he thinks women's physique should look like. And if it's not the standard, then there's a different conversation that's happening here.
I'm sure it's coming. And in fact, go back and research, was there one at Pittsburgh? But I'm sure, because he's done all the divisions, so
he communication. He
at the
hasn't.
end of the day.
I
No,
keep checking. I keep checking. I check the page. I'm like, okay, so I want to hear what his standard is, and he hasn't done one for women's
There
physique.
wasn't one for Pittsburgh.
I don't believe there was one for Pittsburgh.
Okay.
There hasn't been one for and I think WBB. This is the first time that I've seen him do one for women's bodybuilding.
Okay.
Too. So I don't think there was one for Triple O. We haven't had any recaps, so I'm going to keep looking. Hopefully, he does one.
So that's the RFI, request for information, to go back, as you say in the corporate world, and get that, But the biggest thing I think at this point is communication. I think it's trending in the right way with the prize money, and just keep talking. Since getting somebody's DM, getting the emails. Don't jump on Facebook or social media and make a big, rant post, clickbait post, saying the IFBB is wrong and they did this, that, and the other. Communicate. Send that direct email, and then they got phone numbers. Call them.
Right. First of all, I will never be somebody that hops on and rants about anything. Again, we're being judged. It's subjective. I don't take it personally. I've been an athlete my whole life. There's winners and there's losers. And it's not a guarantee that you're going to go and win, because you just might not be what that person who's judging is looking for. And that's fine.
Right.
All you do is go get better. It's never going to be something where I'm like ranting about it. I'm going to go and get the feedback, and I'm interested to just see this progress. I knew that the shows would start to get it would pick up. Now people feeling more confident. They've taken their off season, or their feedback might have been to grow. So they had a set plan to grow for 6 months. Now they're at their 6 months and they're ready to start doing shows. So it takes time. People's body takes time to mature and to do what it needs to do. So,
and you're exactly right. They gave you feedback you need to grow. Take a year off, and then you show up 3 weeks later at the next show, and be like, I just told you, what do you, so it is what it is. But the biggest thing is communication. I think it's trending in the right way, and we're going to be all right. At point, if you do another show, hey, let me know, because I like to have the exclusive. But I think you're looking great, aesthetically pleasing, but I'm a photographer, so that's all I can give you. I'm not a judge, but all of you are winners to me. So photographers need the content. I'm selling a magazine. I don't know if you heard of it. Amazon Fitness magazine. So, and I definitely want to get you in it. So we need to talk about that as well.
We'll make that happen. That happen. But if I do, I'll let you know what my next steps are. If I plan on doing Texas, like I said, I'm going to Texas, going to get some good training in with my soror, and see
who's your sorority.
Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Okay. Yeah. And who's your sister? Who's your I was a me, myself, and I. So I wasn't a Q dog. I wasn't a Kappa. A lot of those guys in them lines, and you see a lot of the Instagram posts now of everybody crossing. Start looking at how many of them jokers graduated. But anyway, we'll leave that alone.
I graduated.
Yeah,
I started my master's. But
a lot of the sororities and fraternities do a lot of community service that is huge. I've seen it firsthand. So y'all keep on doing what y'all doing. So love that. But who's your sorority sister?
Ashley Jones.
Ashley Jones is an AKA?
Yeah, and ironically, she's from Kentucky, and I went to school in Kentucky.
Yeah, She is from Kentucky, but I didn't know that. I got the fade back now. AKA.
You didn't see our picture together where we took our picture with our pinkies up? You missed that?
No, I didn't. I got to go back and look. But then her suit was purple. What are your sorority colors?
Pink and green, but that don't mean that pink is going to go right with your skin tone up under the lights. Now, pink just happens to work for me and my skin tone up under the lights.
So here's the thing. You need to add that your step line, to your routine. And just come out and see if the judges know what it's about. So,
They ain't gonna know. They ain't gonna know.
You might get marked down. You think you get marked down?
No, I don't think you get marked down. They just don't know what it is.
They're not about that life.
They're not about that life. They wouldn't even know if we see weed out loud in the crowd. They wouldn't even know what was happening.
But that's a great fun fact. That's good stuff. Yeah. That's good. So when are you going to Texas? Can you tell me?
I don't know yet. I asked her what dates she wouldn't be there, and so I'm going to start looking at hotels and flights. you know, in this industry, you got to surround yourself with the best. It is what it
Right.
is. And so I want to get into the gym, get a good session. I work out by myself. Like I don't have a team of people. My coach lives in Louisville. So it's just me, myself, and I in the gym, and I put in the work every single day. So I want to get in with, you know, Ashley, get a good training session in as we prepare for the Olympia and see what happens.
Yeah. It really is a sisterhood. Do you, based on everything you just said, the feedback is that you are across all divisions. Do you see it that way? Are y'all really a sisters of steel? You know, from bikini all the way to women's bodybuilding.
Um, I don't honestly, I don't want to say not for a bikini or anything, because here's the thing. I've met so many people online. Like I have so many supporters online and women online that I have met that I've just commented on their Instagram and they've rooted so hard for me. I've never met them again in my life.
Yes.
Whether that is from bikini, wellness, or women's physique, it's more or less now going on stage and competing with some of these women day in and day out, where I'm starting to realize that, hey, let me get your IG. Let me take a picture with you, you know, because sometimes people don't want to do that. Sometimes people are so like laser focused on themselves and their show. I understand that as well, but I truly believe that it's more of a sisterhood and we're just trying to keep everything alive and together and uplift each other. And that's how it should be, because yeah, you're competing against that person that's standing next to you, but at the end of the day, the judges make that decision.
Right.
So it doesn't matter, you know?
And it's great to network and go over there, and it doesn't, and that's just it too. It only matters what the judges say at the end of the day and what your coach is saying. Not everybody out here talking noise, because there was a lot of noise going into the New York Pro about Ashley, about you, about Sharonica Hinton. And
it was very surreal for me, because I will say this, Glenn, is I keep a low profile. I don't mind not being in the spotlight. I don't mind like just doing my thing and popping up and see what happens. So it was very jarring. I don't think I was prepared for all the noise that would come with it, because I'm so used to being in my own little bubble, nobody really knowing who I am and caring about it. Even with me doing so well last year, nobody was really checking for me, which is fine.
Right.
I'm still going to sit in my little thing and my little bubble and mind my business until I won St. Louis. And then it just kind of exploded. And I was like, whoa, what is happening? Like, hey, y'all, but thanks for following me.
You gotta get prepared for success. And so, it's only going to get bigger. I mean, you're an Olympian now. I mean, you need to take that in. You are an Olympian. You know, and how long you been a pro?
I crossed. I came across.
Oh, look at you! You know all about it. I crossed. That's sorority talk.
I turned pro in July of 2022.
Right. So I mean,
last year was my first real year as a pro and competing.
Right. Pro. So in your second year as a pro, you're going to the Olympia. Not too many people can say that, if at all, getting to the Olympia at all. So I mean.
I think about that, especially with us not having a point system. Like
right. Exactly.
It's very
you got to
surreal.
win and you in. So.
Yeah. And I don't, and I'm gonna be honest with you, like I'm going hard. Like I don't want to get that 16th place over that last place. I'm thinking for top 5. Right. Like I know it's some bomb women that's gonna be there. And I expect to be just at that same level. Come hell or high water. Like I'm gonna give this so much. I told my people at work, I was like, hey, take all my projects. Y'all got it.
Yeah.
Like, I just need y'all to let me be. And they generally do. Like I said, I work from home.
Yeah.
So it's a great privilege to be able to kind
of in a great situation.
Maneuver. And I have unlimited PTO, so I can travel how I need to travel. And even if I didn't, my leads and stuff are super supportive. And also my direct reports are super supportive of me. So it's actually
that's critical.
A great atmosphere to be in, especially since I don't have to go into the office. I can just cook my food at home. You know?
There you go. Work out when you want, jump back in. So you're in a great situation.
Yeah, I'm on a stair stepper in meetings sometimes. So because you can see my stair stepper behind me. That was a good purchase there.
Right. So. And I would tell you, don't even put a number on it. Don't go in there top 5, go in there to win. Yeah. And then let the chips fall where they may, and then you can feel good later. Okay, I was top 3, top 5. But now that you got that golden ticket, you got to go.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
it's
gonna
not just
bring the best
given that you're going to
I
be there.
got. I'm gonna bring
Right.
the best that I got to the Olympia. I want them to see me.
Right. And you got to, not everybody makes it to an Olympia.
Yeah, I know.
So you're in rare air. You really are. And in your second year as a pro going to the Olympia, yeah. So keep pushing. So now I gotta ask you, since you had a Freudian slip, what was your line name? Can you tell me?
Oh, my line my line name was Pretty Please.
Nice.
Because there
Big
was only
sister,
2 of
Pretty
us
Please.
online. So it was Pretty Much and Pretty Please.
Wow. Big sister, Pretty Please.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. And, we don't say it much, but thank you all for what you do to keep, women's physique and women's bodybuilding alive, because it's important. I think it's important. I think it's truly important.
And that's the purpose of the magazine and why I did it. And so to keep you guys, because you are relevant, and marketed is all 6 divisions, from bikini, wellness, fitness, figure, women's physique, and women's bodybuilding. And the thing about, fitness is not at a lot of shows as well. So that's another thing.
I have really my thoughts about fitness too.
Yeah.
Just because I cheered, I grew up tumbling, so I was
cheerleader and track background.
I did track when I was younger. So I'm from East St. Louis. So Jackie Jones, Kersey, Flo Jo, all of that.
You know the history,
Yeah, and so like when I was younger, I would run in the Jackie Jones Kersey relays. That was in East St. Louis, and then did track in high school. But then I had it wasn't a normal shin splint; it was a stress fracture in my shin, which snapped my shin, so I had to stop. But I just threw myself into cheerleading, which is what I got my scholarship in. Right. And in 2020, I was playing around in the gym, tumbling, and ruptured my Achilles. Yeah. So it all happened right at the start of the pandemic. We went fully remote from home. So it was just the ideal situation. And 2021 was my big comeback to the stage. It was rough.
But you made it. And here you are. Yeah. So keep pushing and keep going. Can't wait to see what happens. Come back on and let me know. Let's plan this shoot. And, just keep checking in with me. And let's make it happen as we get closer.
I got
Last question. I'm going to get you out of here. You got 20 weeks coming up on 19 weeks before the Olympia. You told me a little bit about your expectations, top 5. We're going to throw that out because we're going to win. And we just let the chips fall more than they may. But is there anything significant that you want to show? It's the biggest show, and each Olympia is bigger and bigger. But this is the 60th. It's in Vegas. And a lot of video, a lot of content out there. Documentaries. Hopefully you'll be part of the documentary as well. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What's your true expectation? Aside from the placing and winning, so we set that aside because we're going to win. But what are you looking to get out of it?
I don't really know what I'm looking to get out of it, to be honest with you. Like, I just want to go and embrace it and enjoy it. I'm not expecting to have any fans. I don't know really what to expect. I don't know.
You're going to have fans. You're getting them now. So, yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to be signing autographs. I don't really know how all of this is going to go. I haven't gotten any correspondence in regards to it. Yeah. So I'm kind of like waiting around like, okay, what's happening? Like, when do I start getting information about it so I can like plan with my family if I'm going to bring my daughter. Because I plan on staying a little bit longer just to enjoy Vegas.
It's Vegas, yes.
Yeah, I'm enjoying and celebrate the year, but I'm just, I just want to embrace it. I'm hoping that I can get some sponsors and I can work some of the booths and, take pictures with the fans and interact with the fans a little bit more other than just the Meet the Olympians portion of it. So I want to be able to represent a company that values me and I value them, and meet some of the fans, take pictures, and just embrace the whole experience and just like be involved in the moment with everything.
That's great. And hey, the sponsors out there, would-be sponsors, you're talking to a would-be sponsor, because I am going to try to do something for women's physique next. So we're going to see all in time and budget. But yeah, trust me, I'm watching. I would tell you, make sure you take plenty of photos, get plenty of video, buy all the stage shots because it's the Olympia. Nothing's not promised, but this is just one of many more.
Absolutely.
On Saturday and Sunday, go out there, take all those photo shoots as well. You know,
I already got like I think 2 that I'm looking at lining up yet. I haven't looked into any more, but I definitely think I'm gonna shoot with Mike and maybe Sean. So we'll see kind of what happens.
Her biceps, that's a home game for them because they're based out of there.
Yeah, I did her biceps in New York with Sean.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Do like a cool personal shoot and see what happens.
Yeah. So you got to take those photos, go get your 8x10s done. So at night of Meet the Pro, I'm telling you, at night of Meet the Pros, so you got something to autograph. Don't go in there thinking, well, nobody's gonna come to my table, and then a bunch of people show up and you ain't got nothing to give them. So get those 8x10s done. Of course, we are gonna plan our shoot, so you got plenty of stuff to take with you when you get down there. But enjoy the journey, embrace the moment. This is only one of many more. And hey, you got a fan in me. You got a lot of fans out there. Embrace it. It's different because you're an Olympian now. You looked at totally different. You're not an amateur. You're not a pro. You know, you're a pro that won a show. Now you're a pro that's won a show and qualified for the Olympia. So go for it. Enjoy the journey.
Yeah, that's the plan. That is the plan.
Big sister, pretty please. Thanks. Thanks for coming on, and we'll talk soon. Appreciate you. Thank you. Have a great day. All right. Bye now. Bye. Coming up at 7:30 in the next hour is the winner of the Triple O Dynasty. Teresa Ivancic will be on. So make sure that you guys step in and join. I'm Glenn Young. Celebrate the female physique. Subscribe to Amazonsfitmag.com, and I will see you at 7:30.